I'm Tim Hahn, founder and president of the Hahn Group, a boutique integrated wealth planning firm in Mississauga, Ontario. We're here today to introduce my good friend, Dr. Tom Deans, the author of Every Family's Business and Willing Wisdom. We're providing Tom as a thought-provoking leader through one of our future and ongoing vlog sessions. Hopefully you'll find it valuable and interesting, and thank you for your commitment and relationship with the Hahn Group. Take care for now. Tom, thanks for coming in again. Tell us, how did you get started with Every Family's Business?
You know, Tim, I think anyone who writes a book is trying to convince themselves of an idea, not the reader. So after running a family business, having run it and been president and CEO for 8 years, we sold it. And then I found myself with some time, and actually for the first time in my life, I found myself with some time and some money. And that was an interesting place to be. There's business owners usually have one or the other. They've got money or they've got time, but very few actually exit their business and have both. I was quite fortunate to be 45 years old and have a little bit of both. And so I sat down one morning and I wrote, started to write Every Family's Business. I had no idea where this book was going to take me. But I wrote a book that was really authentic, for me anyway. It captured my story, 4 generations of our family who had started businesses and involved the kids in those businesses, but we always sold them. We never gave our businesses to our kids. We never gifted our businesses to our kids, or we didn't even sell them to our kids at a discount. We always sold them at market value. And then in the fullness of time, if our kids didn't want to buy them, we would give our children the wealth. We would transition the wealth via the estate. And so, having sold our family business in 2007, the 4th time, I found myself writing this book and just sharing that message. And it was, at the time, quite a controversial message, because we all know that the standard approach to family businesses is give it to your kids. Invite your kids in and just give it to them for free.
So how was your family philosophy so much different? You'd rather pass wealth than an operating company on?
Well, you know, it's interesting because I think that the gift that my father gave me, this is going to sound odd, was not a gifted business. He actually gave me something more valuable than a free business. He gave me the thought process, what I have written about. And that has gone on to sell almost 1 million copies. I've spoken in 20 countries. I have given almost 1,000 paid speeches, and I'm doing something that I truly love and something that's making a difference in people's lives. And so what's more valuable, a free plastics manufacturing company or this wisdom that he shared with me, not when he was dead, but when he was alive? He shared with me this wisdom that set me on a trajectory that I never could have imagined, that has been so rewarding and so much fun. What a great gift.
Well, for everyone I've ever heard speak of you later is the conviction you speak of. This conviction is obviously life experiences. Tell us how your family developed these questions in Every Family's Business.
So some of these questions clearly have to go back to my grandfather, but I think the bulk of them reside with my father. And I've never really asked him where he got them, but it is this wisdom that he lived and we've watched. There's something in our family culture that has allowed us to collaborate, to work together to find the exit from our businesses without viewing that as some kind of acknowledgement that we failed as a family. We've been able to reframe that whole chapter of our lives and say, that is the goal. It's not something to be embarrassed about. That's something to actually shoot for. And so when I say 10 years ago it was a contrarian message, it isn't now. In fact, when I'm speaking, there's certain countries where when I'm speaking, they're kind of like, yeah, that's what we do, especially in the United States. I can tell you that the business owners there, if they don't get their business succession plan right, they really pay a huge price, a much higher price than they do here in Canada, because there's an extra layer of taxation. There's capital gains and a death tax. We don't have a death tax in Canada. So it's easy for Canadian business owners to be a little complacent, a little bit kind of checked out around this whole subject of exiting the business, because there really isn't anyone pushing you. Not so much in the US. You've got to get this right. So they take this message very, very seriously.
What impact would you say this has had around the world, and more importantly on you and what your lifetime vision is?
Well, it's had a huge impact, and I get emails almost daily from business owners, from readers who have used the 12 questions in the book to start a conversation with their children to find out whether or not there's a buyer in the house. Really, that's all the book is doing. It's not teaching you how to sell a business. It's not teaching you how to raise the sale price. It's just getting the business owner to start a conversation, to find out whether or not their children, who they've lured into the business and given them a great opportunity, whether or not that they're sharing a passion. And the way you find out is whether or not they want to risk their capital to buy it. That's it. That's all the book does. So I'm getting lots of emails. I always have, actually, but I'm getting more and more as the book obviously sells more around the world. And it's really satisfying. It's really unbelievable to a point. Because I've realized, Tim, that I actually created a lot of problems with this book. And the book was read. The elephant in the room was always, I think my kids will buy my business, and the kids are sitting there thinking, my mom and dad are going to give it to me, and no one know how to start the conversation. So the book was starting that conversation, and guess what? The business owners were finding out the kids, they didn't love the business. So it was actually leading to a lot of sales, of family businesses. And then the business owner was confronted with a major problem. That little retail store, that property development company, that manufacturing business, retail, whatever the family business was, they were selling and selling for a really high amount. And the business owner solved one problem, the business succession plan, solved it. Now he's sitting on a pile of cash, 5 million, 10 million, 100 million, staggering amounts of wealth. And you'd think that's a great place to be? Well, actually, what I learned from a lot of reader feedback was, in fact, that there was a lot of confusion around that. Business owners are great at making money, but when they actually have it, it's a tumultuous time in their personal and professional careers. They no longer have a place to go. So they've got money, they've got time, and they were really worried about how to manage that whole process. So that really led me to write the second book, Willing Wisdom, and I'm so glad that I did.
Thank you very much, Tom.